feelings and emotions. Peace, feeling free, pure, perfect and calm. Acceptance, feeling open, warm, joyful and secure. Confidence, I can, eager. Belief and courage. Pride, arrogant, aloof, cool and smug. Anger, rude, mad, violent, jealous. Lust, selfish, greedy, want, envy. Fear, doubt, scared, worry, panic. Grief, hurt, guilty, loss, pity. Depression, apathy, stuck, can't and lazy.
Hi folks, my name's Ron Bishop from Timaru, New Zealand, and I'm a businessman. I own a business called Timaru Tourist Promotions, and through that company I promote people, places and events. And I'm also a motivational coach. In other words, I teach people self-motivational skills. And do you know something about people in New Zealand? 47% of the people in New Zealand, of the population in New Zealand, will have a mental breakdown or mental illness during their lifetime. Within every year, 20%, 1 in 5 people, experience some form of mental illness or disorder. I'm 72 years of age, and in my lifetime, I've experienced a mental illness called bipolar disorder or manic depression. And I've had to live with that for 40 odd years. And today I've just been watching a video, an American video, on bipolar disorder. And 5.7 million Americans each year experience bipolar disorder. What is bipolar disorder? It's a mood swing. You have highs and lows. Your moods change rapidly. And you have highs, some days you're on high, some days you feel depressed. The illness is hereditary. I had a niece who committed suicide. She had bipolar disorder. She got that depressed, she committed suicide. Other members, if I trace back my family tree, there's been a history of some mental illness in my family. Okay? So I'm 1 in 5 New Zealanders that this last year has experienced a mental illness. In fact, I've been in a mental hospital because of my mental illness. But you see, the problem in New Zealand is lack of education. Nobody wants to tell anybody that they've got a mental illness. It's something you keep quiet. You don't go around telling people that you have a mental illness or someone in your family has a mental illness. And yet, everybody, 47%, half of New Zealand is going to have some sort of a mental illness during their lifetime. One of the causes of bipolar disorder is some sort of trauma. When people are young, if they've had some trauma in their life, they're likely to develop later in life a mental illness called bipolar disorder. Well, I've told you on several occasions I had a real traumatic experience where I actually accidentally shot my brother and killed him, my 11-year-old brother, when I was 16 years of age. And of course, the mental illness came about as a result of that traumatic experience. I'm sure of that. But for years I never told anybody. I never told anybody I had a mental illness. Until one day I was in a courtroom because I had dismissed a lady from my employment because I found she was dishonest, and I dismissed her. And she stood up in court, her and her solicitor, and said, Ron Bishop has bipolar disorder. And that was in the paper the next day, in the front page of the newspaper. So here it was, I'd been keeping a secret all these years that I had bipolar disorder. I'd been diagnosed over the years with bipolar disorder. And all of a sudden, beyond my control, someone comes out and says I have bipolar disorder, and it's in the newspaper. And when that happened, people started avoiding me because they thought, oh, well, I had a mental illness, I must be some strange sort of creature. And they still today avoid me. A lot of people don't understand me. They avoid me, they're afraid of me, they think I'm a bit crazy. Well, I am a bit crazy. I do have highs and lows, and I have to keep them under control. Now, let me show you something, because this is interesting. One of my other businesses is personal self-development, and I'm on a personal self-development program myself, and I teach other people personal self-development skills. And bipolar disorder is a fluctuation of your feelings and emotions. Some days are on high, some days are on a low, and these are the type of feelings that we have. Everybody has these feelings, but people with bipolar disorder, they are unrealistic. Some of them, they do things that they would not normally do. Okay? Now, one of the things on there, on that chart, is anger. And people with bipolar disorder get very angry and very aggressive. If they're upset, they become very angry. And I became very angry just recently because I was angry because there was a hotel in New Zealand, in Timaru, called the Hydro Grand. It wasn't being looked after. And I got angry because the owner abused me, and I reacted badly, and I finished up in a mental hospital. Because once you've got the label, once you've got the bipolar disorder label, if you do something different, you're labelled, and you've got to go and see the psychiatrist or whatever. So, but it was the best thing that ever happened to me, because I was sick. There's no doubt about it. Who in hell would go and paint a puppet up at 6 in the morning, write the white elephant across it? Okay? That's what I did. I did it because I was on a high. I was in a mania mood, what they call mania, okay? And that's why I did it. And of course that was a mental illness. That's my mental illness. It was destructive. So I spent 5 days in a mental hospital. And that was the best thing that ever happened to me, because this is the end result. This is the end result. Let me show you. See this? This is what's called a blister pack. And this is your medication. This is all my medication. And what is there? 4 tablets in there that I have to take every day. And they're all numbered. And my wife's in charge of them, right? Because I wasn't taking my medication. Some days I'd forget to take my medication. But now I'm on track. I have to take this medication. One of these pills is for prostate cancer. I had prostate cancer, and that's for my peeing, one of them. Other one is for my heart, because I had high blood pressure, and I've got to keep my blood pressure down. And the other 2 are for my mood swings, to keep me level, right? So the 5 days that I spent in hospital was the best thing that could have happened to me. And now I'm fine. The only problem is I'm naturally funny. I'm naturally have a good humour. I naturally see the funny side of things, and I say things that shock people sometimes. It's not my illness. It's just that that's my personality, and people can't get used to that kind of personality. Okay? there's a bloke travelling New Zealand at the moment. He's a singer and his name's Charlie Pride. And he's had bipolar disorder. He's had a mental illness. And there's quite a few famous people, singers and actors and everything, that have had bipolar disorder. But you never see them. They're never on videos or things like that. And I've just watched a video, American video, with people that have had bipolar disorder, describing what it's like and that sort of thing. And you can see by the scars on them that they've had a real hard life. You know, some have got tattoos all over their arms and some have rings in their noses and stuff like that. But you never see a person in a collar and tie, a businessman, a doctor or a lawyer, but that's because of their pride, you see. They're not allowed to go out and tell everybody they've got a mental illness. You couldn't have a doctor on there saying he's got a mental illness, got bipolar disorder, and he probably has. But it's got to be kept quiet, you see. Lawyers, all these sort of people, you see. So I think the education needs to come from the people with the collar and ties on. All you people that have got collar and ties on and working in jobs and you're managing your mental illness, fine, come out and say you've got it. The public need to know that it's not just lower socioeconomic people that have these sorts of things. It's people in high positions, judges, lawyers, doctors, all sorts of people. Because the nature doesn't say, I think I'll give bipolar disorder to that man there for a particular reason because they don't like the look of him or something like that. It's not that way. So listen, I'm doing this video, I'm coming out now and saying, listen, I've got the bloody thing, but I can manage it. I know how to manage it. Okay? I know how to manage my mood swings. And I want to share this with you just before I close. If right now you're feeling depressed, really depressed, talk to yourself. Say to yourself these words, I feel great, I feel fantastic, I feel terrific. Go on, say that now. I feel great, I feel fantastic, I feel terrific. This is if you're depressed. If you're depressed, say I feel great, fantastic and terrific. And say this over and over to yourself and you'll start to come out of depression. Now if you're on a high and you're too fantastic and terrific, you've got to bring it down and you say it, I'm calm and relaxed. I'm calm and relaxed. Say to yourself over and over, I'm calm and relaxed. I'm calm and relaxed. Okay? Do that. You can control your mood swings. We all have these mood swings from highs to lows, but you can control them by talking to yourself. Okay? Remember, you think with your head and you believe with your heart. Okay? So whatever you believe in here, that's what will happen to you. So think positive thoughts and positive things will happen to you. Okay? I'm going to be coming back again talking about this subject. It's a very interesting subject and people need to know about it. Okay? So I'll see you later and keep tuned because I'm telling my life story. The true stories in the life of Ronnie B. That's what I call it. Okay? See you tomorrow. Bye-bye.